Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Havoc Hour. I'm your host, as always, Reek Havoc. This week, we're jumping back into our cinema series spin-off, so to speak. And of course, I can't do that without my cinema horror movie enthusiast, which is one of my guests today from the Smack and the Raw podcast, the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Warden, Matt Ritter. Also, of course, freshly off of a binge of the content that we're going to be covering this evening, the host of the She Leads Showcase, aka the hostess with the mostest, Miss Katie Bebe. How are we doing tonight, guys? How's it going? And girls?
I mean, she got a little extra sauce on that intro than I did, but okay.
Are you mad?
A little bit.
Don't be. It's okay.
Hostess with the mostest.
I call myself that.
Yeah, I haven't said that one in a while, so I just.
Other than that, I'm doing good. Like I said, I woke up this morning, shows violence, and everyone's getting hands, so this should be fun.
Well, that is appropriate because the franchise that we're going to be covering features excessive amounts of violence. I think that's putting it mildly. Obviously, a couple weeks ago we covered the Halloween series, and we're going to cover another one that's a favorite of mine, as well as my guest host today, the Friday the 13th franchise. So, to go right off the top here, how did we all get introduced to this series in particular? Whoever wants to go first.
Girls first.
I mean, you just started watching it, but I mean, of course.
I literally watched them all last week. Last week? 2 weeks ago? When the hell did I finish these? Last week.
Yeah, it was like within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I finished them all before I went to Florida. And that was last week. Yeah, so like 2 weeks ago, I finished them all. Before I binged them, I only saw Freddy vs. Jason and the original. And then I realized after the fact I saw most of part 2, and then when I was rewatching I was just like, oh, I've seen all this already. Yeah, basically you guys were just like, you want to do another one, you have to actually watch everything. So I watched everything.
Indeed.
How long do you think it's going to take before we break this professional aura that Reek is trying to produce here and just get him out of his shell a little bit, because he sounds way too serious for the fun we're about to have? For me, I don't have a specific memory of when I a date or an age. I just know I was very young, because for a while as a child, and I have no idea why, I have specific memories of calling Jason the Saw Chain. So I was young, like 4 or 5. Because I couldn't even say chainsaw properly. And I don't know why I'd call him the chainsaw, because throughout the movies, the only time there's ever really a chainsaw with him is in part 2. So, but I also specifically remember scenes from the barn with them, swinging on the rope and stuff like that I associate with Jason from when I was very little. But as far as, I don't remember which film indoctrinated me into Friday the 13th. It was when I became a teenager and really dove into my love of horror that I just consumed everything. And obviously Halloween is my number one franchise, so that was already a given. That one I had down. So I went with what I like to refer to as knockoff Michael Myers in Jason Voorhees to see what that was about. And I know there's a lot of debate out there between people of who's better, Jason or Michael Myers. And people love the Friday the 13th franchise, and people love the Halloween franchise, blah, 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 blah. But so I'm just kind of poking fun at them by calling them knockoff. There's a lot of great in these Friday the 13th films that I grew to love. I've got to meet multiple actors that have played Jason and characters from the franchise. I have multiple masks that you'll see throughout the show as we go on through. I've collected a lot of stuff. I've got a shit ton of Jason Pop toys. I love Jason, so this will be fun. I got that awesome Welcome to Chicago sign behind me.
Yeah, that's a hit. That's a hit right there. Actually, you guys can't see, but I have some tall Jason socks that I got on me. My mom bought these randomly. I don't know where it came from, what the idea was behind that, but Yeah.
Can you get your leg up so we can see him?
It's like
He's gonna try.
it's got to like
You're gonna make him try.
yeah.
There we go. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to do some DDPY and get a little more flexible for me, but other than that, we're good.
I'm working on that one of these days.
I want to see you bend in half like a dude from Freddy vs. Jason in the bed.
Oh my god.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Absolutely. Because it's on a particular list of mine. So, I honestly, myself, I can't. Well, actually, I was traumatized with Jason because a lot of the movies that I watched, in particular horror movies, like the older ones, I would hear about first before I would see him. So I heard about like Friday the 13th and Jason a whole bunch, but I was about 5, and my cousins and I went on this haunted hayride, and like a lot of stuff was like mildly scary at that point in time. Like it was nothing crazy, but then like towards the end of it, all of a sudden this dude runs out with a hockey mask on and jumps on the hayride and starts like scaring the shit out of everybody. And I'm like, oh no! And I heard somebody call him Jason. I'm like, huh? So like that whole night was just like, it was one of the. It's like I told you guys before. I was a wimp when it came to like the real bad horror movies. So that just added to it. And I think like the first glimpse of it I got was, because every year AMC has the Fear Fest all month long, marathon and different franchises. So I want to say maybe 4 or 5 I caught a glimpse of, and I was just like, nope, not today. I think honestly, I don't think it wasn't until Freddy vs. Jason was coming out and they started doing the promos for that I actually got into watching it, because Freddy vs. Jason was more of like a fight movie, which I was into. So the way they were building it up was like, okay, these guys just going to show up and it's not going to be so much about stalking people all around the place. They're just like going to go at it. So I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I kind of might suck it up and watch this one. So that was kind of like my segue into getting over that. But
I forget you guys are fucking babies. Like, I was born at the tail end of the slasher craze. Like, I was born in 87, and 80s were really the height of the slasher craze, moving a little bit into the early 90s. So I was there for a little bit of it. But like, I forget you guys are fucking children.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes, man. So we're gonna go right down the list and let's go over kind of what we like, what we didn't like. Starting with the original, which a lot of people hail as the best one. I put it up there, but I don't have it as my number one. But it's a classic. You can't not love it.
So you just
Whoever
want to talk about what we liked from the first one first?
Yeah, first one.
Okay. What I liked from the first one, I love Betsy Palmer. What?
You froze.
For like a second.
Keep going.
Like a second. You're good though. You're good. It's all good.
I love Betsy Palmer in her role as Pamela Voorhees. I love that it is kind of the start of the mythology. It's where we learn that Jason exists, that he was a boy that drowned, that there's this crazy mother who lost her son and has sworn to spend the rest of her life not only getting revenge, but then trying to keep the camp closed so that nothing else happens to another child like what happened to her son. And over the years has slowly lost her mind. I love that Tom Savini did this movie, who is a horror icon and was a war photographer who was inspired by the things he saw doing war photography in the special effects that he made for these movies that have become so iconic that he's been involved in, because he wanted them to look as realistic as possible. Obviously, the debut of fucking Kevin Bacon, like,
yeah,
getting the fucking arrow through the throat from under the bed.
Yep.
I love how they did that too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to love. I think Jason has kind of become obviously like the face of the franchise. So people who aren't as familiar with the series don't understand that he wasn't really in the first movie, and he's kind of a dream character almost. Like by the end of the first movie, you don't know if that was actually Jason in the lake or if she just like lost her mind for a little bit, had a psychosomatic fucking breakdown or a nightmare or what it was because of all the shit she's been through because it was so traumatic. Also, I don't like, oh, you're gonna love this, the weird grooming that was going on between the guy opening the camp and the final girl Alice, who was clearly much younger than him. That was really fucking creepy and has always kind of put me off.
Love that terminology. Love it.
Yeah, we knew you would.
I mean, in this case, I can't say he's wrong, because it's definitely something that I noticed. I didn't pay that much attention to it. Ultimately, you know what? It led to nothing because everybody but her gets killed off. So it is what it is.
Also, lack of nudity in the first movie. Very,
of course,
very
you'd be upset about
minimal.
that.
Well, I mean, considering what the theme of not just the franchise, but that particular venue, Camp Crystal Lake, it's kind of what they're known for. I mean, Jason literally dies because the camp counselors can't keep their hands off each other. So, I mean,
It's true.
Kind of fits. Kind of fits in there.
True.
Katie, what did you like about the first one?
I mean, Matt kind of just said everything, so I probably should have went first. But I do like that it's just like it's Pamela Voorhees. Jason's like not really involved at all. Because, I mean, Matt said it. You think Friday the 13th, you think Jason, so you don't really think about his mom. And, I mean, to throw it to like another horror movie in Scream, in the first scene when he's asking her the questions, and he asks who the killer is in Friday the 13th, she says Jason, it's Pamela's. Like, I like stuff like that, little details. And plus, women serial killers. Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, women empowerment, I think it gets lost because everyone looks at franchise or horror movie franchises as like dirty little things, but women empowerment really grew through horror movie franchises and slashers because outside of Tommy Jarvis, with Tommy Jarvis, there's always seeming to be a final girl that survives, that conquers Jason or Michael or Leatherface or Pinhead, whoever it is. There is a female protagonist that always overcomes these oppressive male strong characters that are destroying everyone else.
Scream queens.
Yes.
Yeah, like that became like, I don't want to say a trend, but it's like the biggest theme of at least the big franchises. Yeah, trope. Like the biggest franchises, it's like there's always essentially one female who winds up being the heroine, the one who survives the longest, or at least, you know, goes through and, you know, has the biggest moments. For me, I think, well, obviously the aspect of, you know, Pamela Voorhees being the main one, but also the suspense, because I think as you get further down through like the 80s and into the 90s, I think suspense kind of falls out the window a little more. It doesn't, it gives way to more of the graphic stuff and the kills. It's like it's less of that tension almost, because it's like that's what Halloween did so well. There was a lot of, you know, moments where he's just, you don't know where he is, but he's there, and it's a lot that just builds up, and then it's like everything happens towards the last, you know, 45 minutes through the end of the movie. They kind of captured a lot of that here too, which was good. And, you know, it's like a who's who almost throughout the most of the movie. It's you don't know what it is that's going on. You just hear these stories about what happened here. And it's like towards the end when she shows up, when Mrs. Voorhees shows up, it's like it was almost too obvious that, you know, she had something to do with it. But then ultimately she winds up being the killer, and that that ending with her just taking this woman's head off. I'm like, if you were, a first time viewer back then, it's like that's totally out of left field. You wouldn't expect that to happen, at least not for, the big bad, the killer at the end, to go out like that. But obviously we still had plenty to go from there. Anything we didn't like from the first one?
Well, I covered what I didn't like, but real quick before we move on, I got a question for Katie and a couple things I want to point out. Katie.
Yes.
So you had already seen the original Friday the 13th before you started this marathon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you knew ahead of time that Pamela Voorhees bummer, because I was really curious, because the entire movie is shot from the killer's point of view when the killer is active, first person. So I was curious as if it was a whodunit for you the first time you watched it, or how long it took you to kind of figure out. And I froze.
No, you're good. You're good.
And I'm back. Oh,
okay.
You guys froze. Or how long it took you to figure out who the killer was, but you were already familiar with it.
Well, so. I mean, like the first time I watched it at work. It was kind of in the background, so I was like not necessarily paying a whole lot of attention. But when I like sat down and like rewatched it like later down the road, I was just like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. And I do like that it's shot in that perspective too, because you really don't know.
Yeah, not a lot of that. That was another thing that kind of died out really quick, because very few movies had that aspect. I remember, like, I think Black Christmas, the original, they did that. Obviously, the first scene of Halloween, and then throughout this movie. But that was like, it was a new thing. They never tried that before, and that honestly that added to a lot of that suspense. So it was pretty nice.
The other thing I wanted to touch on was Betsy Palmer not being a trained actress, actually slapping Alice in the face because she didn't know she was supposed to pull her punches.
Yeah.
And like them having to be like, hey, no, that's not what we do in movies. Like, she hit her for real, because that's what they do on Broadway, I guess, is like they say hit someone, you hit them, like, for effect. So learning that I absolutely loved. And then as Reek brought up, that Kevin Bacon kill where the tube that was supposed to feed the blood came out, so they actually blew into the tube, and that's what made the blood shoot out the way it did. And that they were like guys under the bed doing the shit with Kevin Bacon and like a prosthetic body and just his head, everyone cramped under there to make this work.
That blood, between like blood effects, that, and there was another one that I heard that really, like, I just laughed at, because when you see it, it makes sense. The first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when what's his name in the wheelchair gets killed. Her brother, the guy in the wheelchair, he shows up and he kills him. They're actually just like spitting ketchup or something like that onto him from behind the camera, and that's how that affected him. The whole thing about them filming that movie was just, it's crazy if you actually have heard it, read about it, or listened to interviews and stuff. Like, it's madness. But yeah, that I love the stories about different effects and stuff and how they do that. That's pretty dope. But right, yeah, there you go. Yeah, which he was just insufferable the entire movie, and I hated that.
There's always one guy, and we're gonna get into it because not so much, but especially when we get to 3, you get these insufferable characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always a fat white guy.
Yeah.
Kind of hurts my feelings.
Oh man. Yeah, no, but yeah, that last scene too. I always laugh at it because it's just, one, she's slapping the holy hell out of this girl, and the other, it's like it doesn't look like she knows how to fight her in this scene. It's like, are you trying to hurt her? Are you trying to slap her? Are you trying to maim her? Like, what? You've been killing people all movie, and then now it's like you're playing pedestrian with her almost. It's funny. But yeah, so part 2. What did we like from that movie?
Oh, did you still want to do the stuff you didn't like from the first one?
Oh, my bad. I thought you guys didn't have anything.
I did mine when I did my likes, but I kind of ruined that for you and Katie because you guys didn't get into anything that you may have not have liked.
That's cool. Katie, what you got?
The fact that the first two kills the entire franchise aren't really necessarily shown on screen. It's like below the camera. I did a little bit of research because I know we were doing like top 3 kills or whatever. So I was watching kill count on YouTube. So I was trying to figure out like kills because I couldn't remember all of them. I remember a few, and that was something he said in the video that like the first two you don't even see on camera, and the second one kind of just like flashes to white, and then you get like the title. But yeah, I didn't really like that. I don't think it's a good starting point for killing, but it's the only thing I really didn't like. That and the fight at the end was just fucking awful.
So those are actually Tom Savini's hands that are Betsy Palmer's hands that reach up for them. So it's man hands reaching up for the head after she gets decapitated.
Yep, that is
I did
true.
not know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I like how they did that scene, but it's like you could tell that something changed because it didn't. If you're paying attention, it didn't look the same at all. First one, I don't.
What didn't you like, Reek?
Really, it's hard to find something I didn't like in this one. Like, honestly, like for what it was, there was not a lot that I would have said if we didn't see Jason at the end, like we did, that would have been like the one thing. But because he kind of appeared, or maybe didn't, they kind of cast some doubt into it because no one else saw it, and the question gets posed to her as to whether or not she hallucinated the whole thing. It's like, I don't know. I would probably have to watch it back because for the most part, I don't think I really disliked anything. I was like, yeah, it was. I like to be, especially with first movies. I like to not nitpick a lot, because when you got a lot of sequels, it's pretty easy to do that.
All right.
But so
I'm gonna break you out of the shell, man. I'm gonna get you.
It's different when I'm hosting because I feel like I'm got responsibilities. You know what I mean?
Oh no! It's not, because when we did the Halloween one, you were there, and I just had to find something to fight with you about. Once I got you into a fight, I got that reek out.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I'm gonna find a way to pick a fight with you and get that reek out.
Oh, we'll get there. We're just getting started. So, I mean, part 2. What did we like?
I'm gonna let Katie go first, so I don't take away from her her answers.
Oh God. See, since I watched them all so quickly, I'm really trying to figure out what happens in each movie, and I knew that was gonna happen. No, don't start with me. Let me think. I can't think of anything right now.
This is Sackhead Jason.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I didn't like, was the fucking sack on his head, but that's.
Well, a lot of people did.
Well, I mean, the fact that Jason's actually in it, I like that.
So do you want me to go first then, so you get kind of a refresher? Would that help?
Yeah.
All right. So, I really liked how smart Ginny was in this movie. Not just smart as in like intelligent in the way that she handled Jason throughout the film, especially at the end by putting on the sweater, using her child psychology degree to relate to this giant man-child, but also she was a smartass. Like, she wasn't taking shit from anyone, whether it was the lead counselor when she showed up late, none of that shit. So she was a smart, sassy heroine that I really enjoyed. Honestly, that is probably about it, though. This is, again, probably something we'll argue about later, but this is probably my least favorite Friday the 13th. Ginny was great. I don't like Sackhead Jason. He was too clumsy, too human, too bumbling. The overalls, the sack on his head, the weird fucking ending to the movie, the Where's Paul?
Oh my god.
But oh, I'm sorry, we got nudity in this movie, and I did appreciate that.
Can't go wrong.
There you go.
That's where we upped the nudity, and then was it? So now you got me thinking.
Do you want to share with the class, or he's gonna Google it?
Well, they killed Crazy Fred, but this is the one with the wheelchair kill, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. I honestly, because I'm racking it up now. I have more things I don't like than things I do like for this one.
I feel like that's a common theme here.
Yeah.
I always get. I know this is the wheelchair kill because I know the kid in the wheelchair was not a part of. So this is in this one. Paul takes some kids to a diner, and it's raining, and one of the kids stays and like survives the whole movie because he doesn't leave the diner and never goes back to camp with Paul.
Which I hated.
Or was that the original?
No, that was two.
Was that two? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was raining with the wheelchair kill.
Yeah.
So poor kid in the wheelchair couldn't go because they apparently didn't have transportation for him, so he got stuck there. Caught a machete to the face. So again, the machete being, I mean, Jason throughout the series, he's known for the machete, but he's really he uses everything at his disposal.
Yeah.
But the wheelchair, like killing a handicapped person, and just that's what I love about these films is like everyone's equal. It doesn't matter if you're handicapped, child, man, woman, whatever. You can get it from Jason. He don't give a fuck.
That's true.
Like he's not all lives matter. He's no lives matter.
Correct.
There you go.
That's the truth. So, oh man. So I'm gonna be honest. I think probably I'm in agreement. The only thing I liked was the main character, the final girl, because like you said, the child psychology thing was a nice touch because there's really, I don't think you really saw a lot of other characters. I mean, obviously Tommy Jarvis did it, and then in the remake we saw a lot of that too. But yeah, not a lot of characters at least had the opportunity to play on that a little bit, because that seemed to be like the only thing that kind of hits the pause button on them from time to time. I'm never a fan of like the characters in these first few movies because it's just like they're all just fodder at one point in time. But yeah, I don't have a lot that I really liked about this one, because to me it was just like basically a rehash of the first one, just with Jason as the killer, all the way up to the point where it's like you kind of had the same ending as the first one, just it was a little bit different. But I'm gonna save that for like the dislikes, because I got a lot. So, Katie, what you got?
For dislikes?
For likes.
I said a few things that I liked. I liked that Jason actually was the killer. I mean, Ginny is fucking gangster. Like, she really just said, "Nah, fuck this." And like the child psychology part was so cool because they just briefly mentioned it once in the beginning of the movie. And then at the end, putting on the sweater, which, fuck no, I would never. I would rather just die. That's fucking gross. I can't. Especially because her head's there. No. But like, it's again small shit like that like continuity plays out throughout these movies. I love that. For this movie, it did.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Well, there's one big continuity issue that I have when we get to dislikes. I mean, I know I talked about my dislikes already, but I left out the big one because it's my big talking point on this.
Which is?
Well, you got anything else for likes, Katie?
No.
All right, we'll kick us off, man.
The opening of the fucking movie.
I knew this was coming.
Alice survives the first movie, and within the first 10 to 15 minutes, she finds a severed head in her, because she did chop off Pamela's head. But, like, okay, so I have in my own fucked up head a way that I'm making this work, but it's never actually explained in the franchise how the boy who drowned, who supposedly came back and saw his mother being beheaded, learned how to read a fucking phone book and track this chick down, who's not even at home. Like, she's going back to Crystal Lake to kind of relive her nightmares, but she's not at the camp. So, like, he knew her schedule. He got her date book, figured out when the fuck she was coming back, waited for her, grew fucking 6 feet tall, became a whole ass man in a couple months, and then hunted her down and killed her. And there goes our very first heroine at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So, with some stuff that I pull from Jason Goes to Hell, which does a lot for continuity, I'll talk about it when we get there, but I can make this work. I'm actually working on making this work, and I'm writing something to make this work. And everything that is talked about on this podcast is copyrighted. So don't steal my shit, because I'm a genius. But yeah, no, them killing off Alice at the beginning of the movie the way they did, and never explaining like how Jason was alive or an adult, or like, I think they just kind of said like he didn't drown, he was like living in the woods or some shit. But like
something like that, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's not even, I don't even know if that's the continuity for this, because you get that in the remake and everything kind of gets muddied throughout the fucking, you know, the franchises to like, what was the original continuity? Where did this story come from? When did they start telling this part? When was, you know? So if you believe that he didn't die and somehow just survived, like this mongoloid child survived on his own in the woods, eating dead squirrels and shit, and grew up this whole time after watching his mom being beheaded, and was able to like understand that someone killed his mom and bided his time. But then again, like, so was he a full-grown man when he came like and saw mom get her head chopped off? Did he like finally, it took him from 1957 to 1981 to figure out how to find his mom in the small area of Crystal Lake, but it only took him a couple months to find a fucking chick who came back to like visit after killing his mom? I've got issues.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So, well, Katie, you go ahead, because I got like different. I got a bunch. I got a whole bunch.
Go ahead. Were you gonna say something, Matt?
I was just gonna say I really hope I disagree with some of them so I can fight with them about it and tell them why it's wrong.
I agree that I don't like the killing of Alice in the first 50 minutes of the movie. Because, like, what the fuck's the point of having her survive if you're just gonna just kill her in the first, like, without, like, we just know she's there. That's it. Like, she has a phone call with her mom, and then that's really it. So
All
that kind of
improv.
pissed. Was it really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't watch those documentaries, by the way. I didn't have time. Sorry.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
100% did.
I did not. Okay, no, I did. I just forgot.
There you go.
Sorry.
Because I'm like Jason. I've been through your date book and I know what your schedule is, and you had plenty of time to do it.
Oh, okay.
Also, I know where you're staying next time you go on vacation.
Oh, that's kind of true. So you got any more dislikes?
I'm really glad I creeped her out.
Yeah, you kind of threw me off. I really just didn't like the wheelchair kill. It was just too comical for me. I don't know. It like took me out for a second. I think him falling down all of the steps kind of just took me out of it for a second, but
Good. Now tag me in. So I'm gonna start with Alice. not so much because yeah, she gets killed off in the first 10 minutes. That's stupid. But literally seconds after that, when we get the opening credits, she's one of the first people that you see on the screen. It's like, why did she only get 10 minutes? It's like that literally her screen credit, 10 minutes on screen, just to be the first person, that first name they put up on the screen. Oh yeah, we're not even gonna get to see her because she just did one scene and she's gone. Then this one I was really pissed about. They killed Crazy Fred. First and foremost, Crazy Fred might not have been everyone's favorite character in the first movie, but there's something about
Crazy Ralph.
Ralph, there you go.
I said Fred. It's Ralph.
Yeah. There's something about that guy or girl, whoever it is, that gives you the ominous warning before you go somewhere. That always adds to a movie like this. He's going around telling you, "Oh, you're all doomed. You're all doomed." Like that's creepy, and it's sometimes it's funny, but it's like that gives you a good like feel, like, okay, you know something crazy is going to happen when you have someone here talking crazy and weird like that. It's like that you know something's coming. So he didn't have to last long throughout these movies, but it's like you didn't have to kill him again so soon. I was getting used to it. Next up is the wheelchair kill, because to me it's absurd for two reasons. Number one is the stairs. It's gonna derail at some point in time. Those stairs are entirely too long for him to stay stable that whole time. But more to the point, what really gets me about this kill, he's sitting there, right? Camera pans back. You mean to tell me that he didn't even see someone standing off to the right of him that is holding a machete so you mean to tell me that either Jason snuck up behind him so much so that he could reach around with the machete and catch him in the face, or he was standing right next to him and the dude is so oblivious he had no idea that he was there? That I'm not for it at all. And let's see, the last thing is this look of Jason. So on the right side of his face, he's like deformed, and obviously, something's going on with him. That that's been the thing. He looks a little off. On the left side, he doesn't look like that. He just looks like one of the Berenstain Bears in human form, like Big John Studd on the whole left side of his face with the long hair, the beard. I'm confused. Is he just like half deformed and broke up, or is he like? I need more. You can't give me that. I can't be expected as an audience member to be even remotely frightened of that. So yeah, that I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, if I think on it, there's probably something else. But that's
let's talk about you two. The wheelchair kill is one of the best kills in the whole fucking franchise. He murdered a handicapped dude with no remorse whatsoever. And then to add to the awesomeness / semi-comedy of it, dude takes a machete to the face and then rolls down a flight of steps. And your concern is that a poor man confined to a wheelchair didn't have sense enough in the rain on a porch to hear or notice someone creeping up behind him. Even if he did, what was he going to do? Get up and run away? By the time he noticed him, he was fucked. It didn't matter.
Yeah. Look,
Spin around and be like, hey, don't kill me. See, I'm in a wheel. Like,
I mean, I don't.
You cannot be mad at this man for not having, like, he is out at a summer camp in a wheelchair, stuck. No one stayed to hang out and chill with him. He's by himself. It's raining. He's probably sad, out there with his thoughts, having a terrible fucking time. And Jason shows up, and you're all like, well, you're stupid because you should have known there was a killer behind you. Like, cut the man some slack. He had a lot going on.
I mean,
had no idea people were being murdered.
it wasn't that bad. There was the chick that was trying to get some, which I don't know how that was gonna work with a handicapped dude, but I mean, he had some stuff good going on. I don't
There
know what
are
he's so
people
sad
who
about.
can't use their legs whose penises still work. Like
That is
it could be a
true.
possibility.
That is a fact.
Yeah. But I mean, look, I don't. Personally, I've never seen a handicapped dude in a wheelchair try to run away from a killer. I think that would have at least got something. But listen, it's raining out. Fine, I get it. I would at least having try to have some, especially because you're in a wheelchair. At least try to have some situational awareness about you. Like I don't know. Like I said, the stairs thing was secondary to him actually getting caught from the side or whatever angle it was that he all of a sudden just catches a machete to the face. The stairs thing, yeah, like I said, it's absurd to me. But you know what? It's a movie, so it's.
You hate fun.
I don't at all.
I can't believe that you're upset that a man in a wheelchair didn't have fast enough reaction time for you.
I mean, it's like he just doesn't even see it. Like if he turns and it's like turns and looks and he gets to plenty of freeze frames where they were just like looking over and like you get caught, but I don't know.
All able-bodied people. I'm sorry.
Anyway, part 3. What did we like? Katie, you can go first.
Why do you have to make me go first? Oh, there he goes.
You're really the guest of honor because it's you're fresh off the bench.
Sorry, I really can't take him seriously right now.
This is part of the show. It's just totally part of the show.
This is amazing. It's actually kind of fucking terrifying, not gonna lie.
That's good. That's what I think that was meant to. Whose autograph do you have on that one? Is that Kane?
Yeah, they're all autographed by Kane.
Beautiful.
As they should be.
Yep.
Oh, well, I mean, he's putting on the hockey mask. This is the one where Jason gets his hockey mask, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's something I like, obviously. No more fucking sack on the head. It's not so much like a like or dislike. It's just something I've noticed throughout all of the movies. He always got to throw someone through a window. Like, every movie, someone gets thrown through a fucking window.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, kudos, but it just becomes predictable, which I like because I'm always curious what body it's gonna be. This one, it was. Oh fuck! I'm awful with the names. It was like her boyfriend or whatever the fuck. Which that's something that's a dislike, but I'll get to that. Fuck. I had more. I just can't think of them now. Somebody else go. I'll think of more maybe.
Are we doing likes or dislikes? And how do I
Likes.
sound with the mask on?
Oh, you're
Take
good.
it off.
No, you're
you
good.
guys can hear me just fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, likes. He killed a pregnant chick. Again, gives no fucks. Murdered a
True.
pregnant woman in this movie. We receive the hockey mask, the iconic hockey mask, what he is known for, what he wears throughout the rest of the franchise in various forms that you guys will continue to see as we change movies. It's going to be fun. The kills, I feel, are more brutal here. So, like, you handstand who gets cut in half.
True.
Also, I believe... Oh, this is the first introduction of characters of color to the franchise.
Yep.
They're bikers and gangsters.
I think there was maybe one person of color in the second part. I think one.
I think he was there at the campfire, but I don't think he got killed or anything happened to him.
I think he was just one of the kids who went to the bar and nothing happened after the fact.
Yeah. But as far as actual characters that get killed are relatable to the story,
Then yes,
this is the first introduction of representation in these films. So that was cool because you got a black man and a black woman. I I also really, really, really liked Vera, because it almost seemed like she might give Shelley a chance. And poor Shelley, poor fucking Shelley, man.
Fuck Shelley.
He did all Shelley wanted was a chance, and he didn't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Shelley, you wouldn't get the mask.
That is true. That's very
true. But still, fuck Shelley.
Well, we're not doing dislikes yet, so I'll stop jumping in and doing both at the same time. Do you remember anything else that you like, Katie, or are we moving to Reek?
Just move to Reek.
Yeah, I'm sure that you're tapped out at this point. Obviously, having the mask in it, changes everything about the franchise from that point forward. It's become more iconic. But I think the step up in the kills for me were really what started doing it. Like, dude getting his eyeball popped out. Obviously, like you said, my man kept doing the handstand. It's like he kept doing it throughout the movie, and it's like it was just foreshadowing to something that was coming, and then he just gets cut right in half and put on top of the ceiling. For the first black dude in the movie, even though he got killed in the end, but that's something. And I got a little chuckle out of when Jason just pulls his mask up to show. I don't know why he does it. He's showing his ugly ass face, and he just pulling his mask and I'm like, what are you doing? But okay, cool. I guess we just gotta update and see how your face, because last when you were looking like a hillbilly, now somehow you've learned how to shave, which we'll get to that later too. Somehow he learned how to shave and got all that off him. But then the ending I like, because it's kind of a play off of the first two, which rehashing the same trope at the end of the movies gets a little old after a while, but there's a twist here because now it's dead Pamela Voorhees with her head attached somehow. But yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not high on my list, but it's respectable, most definitely. You got no more likes, Katie?
I mean, the kills definitely were a lot better in this movie, which I did like. Especially it was like the harpoon gun or something to Vera's eye.
Yes.
I liked that. That one was cool. But yeah, the kills definitely were a lot better in this one.
Chris Higgins, the main character, who was also traumatized and apparently at some point before part 2, assaulted in the woods by Jason, which I'm going to get into in my dislikes, but one last is, in my opinion, hands down, the most physically attractive leading woman of the entire franchise. I had the hots for Chris. Still kind of leading woman outside of Alice, Sally, and then the next 3 leading women are technically Tommy Jarvis. So until you get to 7, Chris Higgins was my favorite female lead.
That's fair. I can see that.
It's fair.
One of the better
Not my favorite character, but my favorite female lead.
Sure.
Can we do dislikes now? Because I got some shit.
Yeah.
All right. Shooting this thing for 3D really made this shit corny as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Friday the 13th Part 2 takes place 1982 on Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th Part 3 takes place on Saturday the 14th, 1982. So that means that between coming back, stealing Paul, which we still don't know where the fuck Paul is, just fucking disappeared like there was never a fucking Paul. Don't get an answer to that. This man lost all of his hair on his face and his head, reshaped his head.
Yep.
And his entire face in a day. Just completely transformed that shit.
Napalm. That's
no, I just so this is the continuity aspect of like We went from 2 to 3. We kept Jason, but we changed the way Jason looked. And then we said, this is just a day later. It's just the next day. Jason survived part 2, getting the machete in the shoulder and all of that stuff, got up, crawled himself to a convenience store to steal some clothes to change, murdered a couple people in awkward 3D, stumbled upon some more kids who were just trying to have a good time. Poor Shelley just wanted to make some friends, get himself a girlfriend. That's all he wanted. And instead, people like Katie are really mean and don't understand that he's trying so hard because he hurts on the inside.
Yeah.
I
just give him a
understand
chance.
that. How fun? No. I
And
understand
if you just
that.
give him a chance, he can prove how great he is. He just doesn't know how to express it.
Yeah. Have a heart, Katie. Not a bad guy.
So anyway, the 3D kills were terrible. Also, this whole trend of like a younger girl and a guy who looks like he's in his fucking 40s
Yeah.
dating these younger girls is fucking weird to me.
Grooming.
But
yeah.
they're all portrayed as to be like fucking Chris's boyfriend is portrayed to be the same age as her, roughly. Ginny was technically out of college, or at least in college, so like,
Yeah. That one didn't look that one was pretty decent.
yeah, Paul wasn't terrible. It's
Even
just,
though he's missing.
nobody knows where the fuck Paul is, and it's still pissing me off. That is going to be a dislike for every movie going forward, is that we never found out where the fuck Paul was.
Yeah.
How about that happen? That's funny.
I don't know what merit he had deserving enough to survive. Like, just personally, I'm not sure. Like, why? Like, what was special about him as a character that he just got to scoot and disappear completely? Like,
Well, he didn't. We don't know if he's dead or alive. We have no idea what the fuck happened to him. Jason broke through a window, grabbed him, pulled him away. Fucking Ginny passed out, woke up, asked where Paul was, and nobody had a fucking answer as to who, what, where Paul was. It was like she hallucinated Paul this entire time, just like Alice hallucinated the boy in the lake, and just like Chris hallucinated Pamela Voorhees with her head reattached in the lake, because they ripped off the entire end of the first movie and put Pamela in the lake instead of Jason.
Yep.
yeah.
Which is also a dislike, because come on, be fucking creative and do something different. Don't just redo the ending of the first movie.
Yeah.
Though Jason without the mask on, after the hatchet wound in the head and all that, coming out of the house, coming after her before she realizes it's just a dream, that was cool. That got me the first time.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I kind of really just got one, and he's not going to be happy about it. So let's just get yours out the way.
Okay. I agree. I don't like the fact that it's basically the ending of one. Like, you can think like nothing else you guys could do. That's fine. I don't remember what her name is, but her acting is fucking awful. It's, oh god, what the fuck is her name? Shelley dies in front of her after he gets his throat slit.
The stoner chick?
Yeah.
I think yeah.
I don't remember what her name is, but
Her you talking about her screaming or crying or whatever. Oh my god.
her scream, her cry, her run, that was the most excruciating thing about this movie. That was fucking awful. Her like walking down the steps instead of like running down the steps, or like walking up.
Character, I think her name was like Chili or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah. That was fucking atrocious.
I just
I
laughed
hated
at
everything
that.
about that. I was just like, this is awful. And the whole like 3D thing. I think when I was watching it, I asked you guys, or I said something to you guys. I was like, this was supposed to be 3D, wasn't it? Because you can tell. And that kind of like took me out of the movie a little bit.
Oh, you mean I'm just like...
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Stop. Ew. I don't like that. I mean, those are like my main dislikes. It's just, yeah, her acting just really pisses me off. It was awful.
So,
All right, let's hear it.
So
I'm so intrigued.
I advocated for my guy a second ago, but in reality, I was thoroughly disappointed with the stupidity of Shelley because he's essentially the boy who cried wolf. He decided, I'm just going to keep on pranking people all this time, and middle of the night, that's how you get the mask and the harpoon and all sorts of stuff. You want to keep on playing these games and tricking people, and then be shocked somehow that they don't believe you when you show up. Yes, obviously your throat is cut, and I don't know why they thought that would be fake. Granted, you've been pranking them all weekend or all the time that they were there, but I mean, listen. How did you expect this to happen? I mean, you've been posing this fake danger to these people all this time, and now that you're actually in distress, you think that they're gonna fall for this shit now? Like, no. Like, I'm sorry, you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. I understand he was trying to make friends, but find another way to do it. Come on, dude. It just wasn't working. Also, the axe to the head. Your reaction to the axe to the head is what? You're trying to give her a hug? Like, what are you doing here? Like,
well, it was for 3D. He's reaching out at the camera. That is part of the 3D bullshit.
I hated that. Yeah, every aspect of the 3D of it just. I had to try to see it through outside of that lens, but it really kind of messed up the viewing for me, honestly. So, but yeah, those two things. Otherwise, I wasn't mad at it.
I don't know if I want to fight with you about Shelley or not. While
it's
I
true. You know it's true.
While I do partially agree with some of what you said, like, I mean, he had his throat. I don't think he was expecting anything of anyone. I think, like, your instinct when someone cuts your throat is to just go somewhere. Like, I don't think he thought or fully thought out, like, oh, I've been pulling pranks. No one's going to believe me. Like, that's what you do when someone cuts your throat. You go look for help. Like, it is a vital instinct. So, like, you can't knock him for going to look for help when something actually happens. Also, all of the pranks he pulled, he had no way of knowing that there was a mass murderer in the woods killing people that is actually going to come for him. It happened less than 24 hours ago, and clearly it was not covered on the news.
I mean, everybody at some point heard the story, whether it's the original story, whether it was what happened. It's like somebody heard a story or one of these stories that came out of this place. It's called Camp Blood.
But he wasn't at a summer camp. And the only person that knew about Jason or knew that there was some creep in the woods was fucking Chris, and she didn't tell anyone but her boyfriend when the car broke down. Like, she didn't warn anyone before they came up here, hey, by the way, I know we're going up to this place, but a few years ago, some dude tried to rape me in the woods or something I don't know, and it kind of freaked me out. Like, she kept that shit to herself. She did not share her Me Too moment with anyone except for her boyfriend years later.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But yes, he could have found a better way to try and make friends.
Exactly. Don't be the boy who cried wolf. Don't do that. Okay, so part 4, I'm just going to come out and say that is like the 1A to the 1B of, for me, the best movie in the franchise. I like had the best heroine or male heroine, if you want to say that. But it's definitely on the top of my list of with the best movies in the franchise, absolutely. But what did we like from it?
Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis. Immediately right off the bat. I also liked that it wasn't like the typical final girl. This was like the first one. I mean, the whole Tommy Jarvis trilogy is like, these are my favorite movies. I think I said, I don't even remember which one I said was my favorite right now, but I like that it was, yeah, it's 5. This one was really good though. I liked the fact that it was kind of just a family, and there just so happened to be teenagers who were moving in next door for the summer. I liked that it wasn't just like this typical summer camp bullshit, that it was like, well, I mean, 3 wasn't. They were just going to her cabin or whatever. I liked the kills in this one. I also liked the twins. They were interesting. I liked that aspect.
Yeah.
What else did I like about this one?
Crispin Glover.
That was going to be the first thing I said.
Yeah.
No, Crispin Glover was
Wait,
the
wait.
MVP of this movie for me.
Because I know how you are. Have you seen Back to the Future?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you know who Crispin Glover is then. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot I forgot that he was in this one.
Yeah, next to our Tommy Jarvis, Crispin Glover was the MVP of this movie for me.
He was the dead fuck who got
The
to bang
dead
one of the
fuck.
Doublemint twins.
The Doublemint twins, exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's mainly it. I might think of something else while you guys talk, but that's the gist of it.
Would you like me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Things I liked about this, obviously, like we said, we had star of the 80s, Corey Feldman, in one of his earliest roles or earlier roles, before, he really broke out and did more shit for Steven Spielberg. Crispin Glover, who was fantastic, and then his douchebag friend, who you just couldn't wait to see die.
Yeah.
You've got the continuity of the axe wound in the mask where he got hit. So finally, even though, again, this movie is just one day, Sunday the 15th, 1982, after part 3, part 4 just takes place the next day. So he just, again, got up and stumbled to another part of the camp, of the lake, and found some more people. We've actually got some continuity here where Jason hasn't really changed that much. We're keeping Jason's look alive. We're keeping the wounds and damage carried over, which I do appreciate. I like that Tommy was into special effects. Like, he was kind of a nerd who created these things, and that led to kind of the finish of the movie and everything. I like that they did a very unique ending there where it almost looked like Tommy might become, the next Jason, almost like in Halloween.
Jamie
Lloyd showing signs of Michael Myers after killing Michael Myers. I loved all of that. Obviously, again, same thing, nudity. We got the skinny dipping scene, so here's why I love this. I was Tommy Jarvis at that age. Like, if I could look out my window and I could see people having sex, I would react the exact same way that he reacted. If my sister went to a lake and and by the way, I can't remember her character's name right off the top of my head, but Judy Aronson was in this. She's the girl that got killed on the raft and actually almost died of hypothermia while they shot that scene. One of my favorite nudes throughout the whole franchise. That is one of my top favorite women in this whole franchise. She was absolutely gorgeous. Again, I would, if I knew kids were skinny dipping, I'm gonna try and sneak in there and see what the fuck's going on too. Like, I'm curious what's going on. What's this about? So I related a little bit to Tommy Jarvis as well as a kid. But yeah, no, like you said, I feel like this movie is the one that's heralded as kind of the best film in the franchise for most people, which is why I said if we did like a favorite, it's really hard to pick because objectively, this is probably the best film. It's not my favorite film, and it's not my favorite Jason, but story-wise, it's probably the best film of the franchise with the best acting and all that. Like, you got a lot of great people in here. They did a great job. So,
yeah. Absolutely. So, I'm pretty much on the same boat. Like I said, Crispin Glover and Corey Feldman did it for me in this movie. I don't think if there was nothing else good about it, that's gonna do it because the acting was the chops on Crispin Glover for doing that dance. Like, I'm saying, like that's boldness. That's boldness. But also, the other big thing is that whole final sequence with him going up, cutting his hair to kind of look like Jason, and then the kill for Jason was dope as hell. And like you said, it was kind of like you almost had this concern, like he was getting ready to cross over, like he was going to be a killer now. That suspense, and then the fact that they had the boldness enough to be willing to actually kill Jason off because this was going to be the end until it wasn't. I mean, when it feels like the popularity is at the highest and you say, you know what, screw it, we're just going to kill him off now. It's like, that's taking a chance. And sometimes it doesn't always pan out. So can't be mad at him for trying. But, still had more movies to make. So
that poor hitchhiker and her banana.
Fucking great.
that was one I kind of laughed at too, which, sorry, not sorry. It was just funny to me. Do we have any dislikes for part 4? I don't at all.
I mean, obviously, the ultimate dislike of what happened to Paul. Again, this is just 2 days later. We don't find Paul's body. Where the fuck is Paul?
Yeah. I don't know.
Something I didn't like. What was the guy's name? Who was like the? Oh my god! Who like helped fix their car? What was his name? Roy. It wasn't like Roy. I think that was another movie.
No, that's the next movie.
Rob.
Oh yeah.
I was close. I'm actually kind of proud of that. He's apparently the brother of the girl who was underage doing a sex scene in part 2. And that I didn't like that he was apparently just her brother. And again, I didn't know this until I watched the kill count because I wasn't paying attention to like names because I watched these so fast it was hard to like remember a lot of the names.
Girl who was underage.
Kill count is very good viewing. Gotta say that.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I think her name was like Sandra. She was part of the couple who got stabbed through the bed. Apparently,
the
Rob
world's
is
longest
her brother.
spear.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. That it was just. I mean, because again, it was like what 2? It would have been like 2 days later at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he got up there hella fast. He had like all this. He was like really planned ahead. I didn't like that.
Okay.
I can agree with that. Things I didn't like. There's really not a lot to dislike about this movie as far as the kills, the characters. I'm with you though. Again, if the kids on Saturday didn't know about Jason, how the fuck did Rob find out that his sister was dead, confirm the body, collect everything, and then get his ass up there because Sandra, who didn't wear a bra, if I remember correctly, definitely had to travel and was there with her boyfriend. And like, I believe they're the ones that went to the phone booth to call. They were fucking with them because they towed his truck. So like, it's not like they lived nearby. They knew where they were at or anything like that. So like, he had to find his way up there, get all the shit to go hunting, to go find Jason. And he put all of this together in a very short time. But they don't expect you to like look at it as like, oh yeah, this is just the day after Chris Higgins and Higgins Haven and blah, 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 blah. So.
Yeah. Makes sense. So, part 5. This is also not high on my list either, but it's not the worst one. This is a good couple things I like about it.
Ooh, fuck you.
There is. Like, it's just, you know, I'm like on the fence with it. But it's not a bad movie at all. It's not a bad movie at all. So, what did we like about part 5?
Well, this is my favorite movie, so firstly, how fucking dare you? Listen, teenage Tommy Jarvis. Hell yeah. I was about it. Let's go. That's the first and foremost. Tommy Jarvis in 5 and 6, a snack. We love to see it. Because again, you have all these beautiful women, and then you get Tommy Jarvis, who's also a handsome man. So I wasn't mad. I was happy. As he adjusts his mask. This one had, I believe, the road flare in the mouth.
Never seen that before. And that was dope.
Which is one of my favorite kills in the franchise by far. Oh my god. The little kid, Reggie.
Yep.
I loved him.
Like this movie specifically for Reggie and his brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that right there was doing it for me. Like that can't go wrong there. Can't go wrong.
You're just a hater, apparently.
Reggie fucking lived.
Like they're exactly. For me, in terms of like for kid actors in movies, there's him and there's the kid that played Julie in the new Halloween. Like those two are like up there. Obviously, you got Tommy as a kid, but those two are definitely up there. So that did it for me this movie.
You're just a fucking hater, apparently. Oh god. Now I'm like blanking on everything. I like was thinking about this while we were doing the other movie too. Oh my god. Come back to me.
All right.
Don't do well under pressure.
Let me tell you why Part 5 is awesome and probably has become my favorite franchise. Now, I know a lot of people shit on Part 5. They consider it like the Halloween 3 of the franchise because it's not actually Jason as the killer.
Yeah.
But they tell a masterful fucking story here. So, you have this place for outcast kids, troubled teens, where they're trying to give them purpose and rehabilitate them. And again, this poor, annoying fat kid who just can't seem to do anything right gets brutally murdered. Nobody knows that the paramedic that came and found his son in pieces is the father of this child at the very beginning. He then uses the story of Jason Voorhees and Tommy's troubled past to get revenge for his son's death, much like Pamela Voorhees in the very first movie, which is the whole premise of this franchise. Someone getting revenge for their child. The best breasts in the original franchise go to Debbie Sue Voorhees, who they cast partially because her last name was actually Voorhees, who is one of the two nymphomaniacs that go fucking down by the lake and then gets murdered. The belt kill on her boyfriend where they strap it around his eyes, fucking fantastic.
It is.
I just
Jeez, take the mask off.
listen. I played you guys a song. There's a song by a band called Wolfie's Just Fine that is named after this movie, A New Beginning, and it was appropriately titled. It's another reason why, like, this has kind of become a cult classic film because it's a psychotic Tommy Jarvis who's seeing visions of Jason, and you're not sure if Tommy Jarvis is slipping into that psycho character that they kind of teased with him at the end of part 4. Is he the killer? Is he crazy? Is it him? Isn't it him? Then you get the twist of who the killer is and why he did what he did at the end of the movie. You've also got the most ridiculous hillbilly family who just hates these kids, but the mother is fucking fantastic. The son sucks.
Yes.
He is a fucking just abomination of a person. But the mother is fantastic. Even what the fuck is her name? The blonde chick who gets killed while dancing in her bedroom.
Violet,
who I also believe is in another horror franchise.
I feel like she
I
was
will
in
look that up.
Nightmare.
I think she is, and I'll look that up while you're doing what you liked about this movie, since there doesn't seem to be a whole lot. Also, again, Reggie survives. Reggie is fantastic and funny throughout the whole movie. And on top of all of the nudity and gratuitous sex that we get throughout this film, you've also got the older woman who's running the camp in a wet T-shirt with no bra, running in the rain, making her shirt see-through, giving us a little bonus action there at the end. Tommy being, again, the man who stops this killer, and then also teasing at the end of this movie, maybe I'm still fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They did a great fucking job, especially because the original plan was to use Corey Feldman, and he couldn't because Steven Spielberg had paid him to do some other movies, so they could only get him for the opening scene of this movie, which they shot in his backyard, and he was actually sick, I believe, at the end of part 3 when they shot the end of part 3, like had a flu or some shit like that. So this, because of scheduling conflicts, they actually had to shoot it in his backyard at his home to get this scene done. They were going to use him and continue it on with him and couldn't, so they had to fabricate this entire fucking story out of nothing because what they wanted to do they couldn't fucking do. And they made this fucking movie. And I'm telling you right now, if you have not listened to it, go listen to Wolfie's Just Fine, A New Beginning. Go watch the video, because it is basically, if you're a fan of the show The League, it is Taco as the lead singer of this band. It is a real band, and it is him basically telling the story of the first time he watched this movie and the impression and how he fell in love with the franchise. So this movie is what made him fall in love with the entire franchise. So your blasphemy about this movie, sir, is upsetting.
Listen, I'm not trying to trash it. It's just not my favorite, you know? I love the dynamic between Reggie and Tommy, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, Tommy's older now, but it's like they're both kids, because, you know, Reggie comes and tries to scare him, but then Tommy has the serious face for like a couple seconds, and then all of a sudden comes back out of nowhere one of his really unique masks that he tends to have that are like super, like, I don't know where he gets these things from, because he makes them. Like, I don't know how he does this shit, but yeah, he comes back and scares him one of those, and it's like they have that kind of like, we're both kind of kids in the same way. The twist of the guy in the EMT, Roy, being the killer at the end, and I do like that story that, you know, he kind of takes the same role of Mrs. Roy. He's like, oh, y'all killed my kid, so now I'm just gonna go around and get everybody. That ending, definitely, with that twist from Tommy. Obviously, Reggie and his older brother, that played by Miguel Nunez. And that whole scene, my dude's trying to take a deuce and he's getting assaulted. Like, that's like probably one of the worst places to die. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff to like. It's like I don't consider it a bad movie. Just
He basically said it was one of the worst movies in the franchise at the beginning of
because
its
you're
opening.
a fucking hater.
And it had Miguel Nunez in it. Miguel Nunez Jr. is in this movie.
Correct. Yeah, I don't have it in like my on the top of my list of best movies in it, but it's good. I do like it. I had there was something else too. Shit. Well, I was very happy that the pain in the ass son driving around in a freaking motor scooter, screaming nonstop for no reason. I was happy he got killed, but the mother, he didn't have to, because like you said, the mother was very entertaining, and I wouldn't have mind letting her live, because just because your son's a dick doesn't mean you gotta go to.
Violet was also in an episode of Freddy's Nightmares. She wasn't actually in the Nightmare on Elm Street series, so that's why they talked about her in Never Sleep Again.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like she was kind of might have been in like part 4 or
no.
Yeah, because she kind of looks like the one girl that survived. I think it was she survived from part 3, and then they had a different actor in part 4. And then
we're not talking about that. We got a whole thing with TC. We got to talk about that shit.
Yeah, we got mileage on that.
We're not even halfway through the franchise yet.
Correct. So that's my like. Anybody got dislikes for this one? Since
one,
you guys' favorite.
One dislike. The cheesy music they play when the cops show up, and it's something that goes on throughout the franchise. Kind of is when like the stupid cops, and Halloween does it too. In part 5, where it's like, to let us know that the cops are inept, they play like corny music to let us know
the clown
cops
music
are fucking stupid.
That pissed me off so much. I hated 5 anyway, but just adds to it. Don't do that.
Halloween 5, not this 5.
Yeah.
Because you just said that it's not a bad movie, and then you said I hated 5. I had to clarify because we're still talking about 5.
Yeah.
One more thing I did like was the scene with Lana in the restaurant where dude who's got all the coke in his car comes to pick her up, and she's like changing in the bathroom mirror. She's just like, surprise. Yeah. Which they just added because I guess they needed to up the nudity count a little bit to satisfy the audience. So like specifically cast her for that, and then an extra death. There's not, again, this is another movie that for me, I know the big gripe is, well, it's not really Jason, but like, fucking get over it, because it was still great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
We're also done with masks for a little while, so.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey, what you got?
Dislikes? Just the fucking hillbilly son. That's really it.
Nope. I got one more. I talked to Katie about this. I remember this. The fucking sweater.
Oh yeah.
So in one of the final scenes of the movie, as she's running through the woods, as you watch the movie, she'll have a scarf or like a sweater tied around her, and some scenes it'll be there and some scenes it'll disappear because they shot it at 2 different times. Yep. And sometimes they shot scenes with it and without it, and the continuity director didn't pay attention when he put the shit together. Great. So like she'll have it and then it'll be gone, and then she'll have it again, and that when I found out about that, now every time I watch it, it bugs the shit out of me.
I forgot you told me that. You literally told me that like 3 days ago. There we go. What do you dislike about it, since you're a fucking hater?
Not a hater.
Clearly you're a hater.
That's because I said it wasn't my favorite.
You said it was like one of the worst ones.
I said I wouldn't put it up with one of the best. That doesn't mean.
I feel like we need to run that audio back.
Yeah, I feel like that's not what you said, but all right, liar.
Obviously, I like the twist of having a guy posing as a copycat, but I'm not crazy about it either. Also, the one dude, I think his name was Jake. he had just gotten rejected in like the worst way. I don't think he should have killed him after that. Like you kind of, you're already going. You're down bad already. You didn't need to catch a knife to the face after that. You know, I kind of feel for him. You know,
Put him out of his misery.
no, come on, man, screwed up.
All
What
those
else?
kids at prom, he had no business trying to pick up one of those girls anyway. They all had issues. That relationship was not going to go well. He was just jealous of dude fucking out in the woods every 3 seconds, and I would have been too.
I guess so. Also, does Pam die? Because we never get any clarity on that. That's another thing. I didn't want to see her die because I kind of she's kind of cute. But yeah, we never really got any clarity on that. Like, because it was another one of those dream sequences where Tommy technically kills her, but then he doesn't. He wakes up, but then as the screen kind of pans out towards the end, it's like, well, maybe he does kill her. Like, I don't. We never kind of get any clarity on that.
Oh wait, I have another
endings-
dislike.
Oh.
Where's Paul?
Yes, where's Paul?
Yeah, like
Now this is years later, but
Doesn't
still,
matter. Where the fuck is Paul?
Jason wasn't in this movie, so we can't ask him. I'm gonna save Where's Paul for the next one when he comes back.
Okay, fine. Fine.
well, I mean, he's got a good point. Not a lot of time elapsed afterwards, so somebody should have an idea, something. So yeah, that's really much all I got. I don't really dislike a lot out of this movie, despite what you guys.
I feel like you did dislike it, and then we brought you around to like, oh shit, you know what? Maybe they're right.
No, it's like I just didn't have it up there with the top movies in the franchise for me. That's all.
That's your opinion. You're allowed to be wrong.
I liked
Whereas
it.
it's Katie's favorite probably, and definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Like I said, so I have a real hard time ranking my favorite movies because like I have the movie that has my favorite Jason in it or my favorite version of Jason in it. I've got the movie that, like I said, Part 4, which is probably the best story of the whole franchise. And then the movie that I enjoy watching the most. And this is probably the movie that I enjoy watching the most because it has everything I want in a Friday the 13th franchise, minus technically Jason, but there's a dude in a fucking hockey mask murdering motherfuckers. Like, which is all Jason really is at this point.
Exactly. Try to know what your favorite Jason is. I'm pretty sure I have a good idea.
I think you know who plays my favorite Jason, but I don't think you know which Jason it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one Jason. There's only one actor playing Jason that matters, truthfully.
That's rude. Ari Lehman's fantastic. He's a very nice guy. Wish me a happy wedding. And he's first Jason.
Fair enough, but there's one OG. There's one above all the rest. They all did great. I'm not knocking any of them, but there's just one. There's just one for me. But yeah, I think I'm gonna say 7. 7's Jason.
As my favorite?
Yeah,
You are correct.
I thought so.
Look at you.
I mean, that's like probably the most zombified out of all of them.
And that's not even really a factor. We still got to talk about 6, but that's not really a factor as to why. Again, it's kind of like Michael Myers in Part 6. I feel like after 7, he kind of becomes a parody of himself. Whereas this is Jason, but this is the most powerful, badass, vengeful, murderous version of Jason.
Yeah.
Which is why it is my favorite. And he's got to fight a chick with fucking supernatural psychic abilities. So, like, he's got to be a badass.
That's true, too.
In Part 7. But let's talk about 6 first.
Yeah, so Part 6, the reincarnation in the first version we get of the first zombie Jason. So, what did we like?
You want to go first, Katie, or you want me to go first?
And I can go first, I guess. Tommy Jarvis. This is the nicest version of Tommy Jarvis, by the way. I liked the triple decapitation. That by far I think is my favorite kill. It's just so clean. I love it. I like that there was actually like kids at the camp in this one. Oddly enough, I liked that factor, especially because the one little girl like kept seeing him. They're like, "Oh no, it's fine. It's just a bad dream."
Got real
But
close
no,
and
like,
personal.
yeah, he was gonna fucking murder her real quick. So I really liked that. And I liked the fact that the cop's daughter, I don't remember her name, she basically just said, fuck this, I'm gonna help Tommy.
Yeah.
And I loved that. She basically was just like, nah, fuck this. She was a good second to Tommy, I'll say that. And I really like the gruesomeness of like the way they made some of these kills look, especially the one counselor, like you open the door and there was just blood fucking everywhere. It was like excessive, but I loved it. That, and then the RV kill, like her head fucking through the metal. That was fucking cool.
Yeah.
And they said that triple decapitation that you loved.
I said that.
Oh yeah. But it's an extra point because that and the smiley face with the blood in the tree, that whole like paintball scene at the beginning, just to give him some extra kills.
I love that shit.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie that I love, and homages to horror franchises. Like I believe John Carpenter is mentioned in this film just by his last name. Like I think it's Carpenter's Road or something like that. Tommy is also standing outside of like a deli or something that's named after another horror icon. So there's a lot of little Easter eggs that the director put in this film as homages to other franchises, including the way Jason was brought back through lightning, like Frankenstein, which was the intent. Was he was a dead body that was struck by lightning and brought back, and that was kind of the standard going forward, at least for a little while, as to how to bring Jason back to life, was shock him back to life. Because Jason can die. This is a point that I want to point out to all you Friday the 13th franchise fans who say Jason can't die. He's died multiple times throughout this franchise. He can be revived as a giant, badass walking zombie, but he can also be killed, whereas Michael Myers cannot.
Correct.
This is also the first movie in the franchise that has children in it actually at the camp. We're 6 movies in. The first 2 take place at an actual summer camp. It's about a summer camp, yet none of the movies actually got to the point where kids showed up. So now we've got kids who are terrified because their counselors are being murdered and affected by their counselors being murdered. The kills in this are great. No nudity.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we're not on dislike shit. I'm sorry. I'll come back. I enjoy that they continue the story with Tommy Jarvis and they kind of complete it. Now it's like, okay, I'm not crazy, but I need to end this. I need to make sure Jason's dead. I need to finish this so I can move on with my life. And this is how they go about it. And nobody believes them. They've also changed the name of the town to get away from the stigma. It is now Forest Green. It is no longer Crystal Lake. There's a lot of great shit throughout this movie itself. The scene with the camper where he kills them in the camper, shoves a girl's face into the metal, and then after the camper flips over, he's standing on top. And then a fun fact, apparently one of the producers, I believe, was a big jackass, and he was like buying shit for himself. through the budget, and he had bought this cooler that he absolutely loved, and they stuck it on top of the camper for that, and it was completely destroyed in that scene, and that was kind of their way of being like, fuck you to the guy because he was a pain in the ass.
Oh man, I like that. Yeah, that was good. So right off the bat, I love the electrocuting the body to bring him back to life. Like that's outside of it, the Easter egg to Frankenstein. That's just like something that at least with all the franchises, different horror movie monsters. That's something that we didn't really see, from anyone else. So that was dope. Now officially, Jason is no longer killable. He was dead. Now it's like you could try to put him down, but it's not going to happen. The scene with the paintballers, that was beautiful because mainly the kill, because the dude gets thrown into the tree and you see a smiley face where his head just was. And the whole standoff that the sheriff had with him towards the end, he got the shotgun, just pumping him full of lead, and it's like, you can't kill him, but I give you credit for trying, because he really went at him, just put one right between his eyes and everything. But it's like, try as you might, it's not gonna work. Sorry, buddy, but yeah, all that it was one of the better. To me, I got it close to part 4 is one of my favorites. I really like this one, and the ending too, which is going to lead into part 7. Being chained down to the bottom of the lake. I think that's kind of like some cruel irony that he died initially this way, and now it's like he's stuck down at the bottom of this lake at the end of it all. So, but yeah.
So is he alive when he sinks to the bottom of the lake, or do they get him with the motor from like the spinning blades on the motor of the boat? Because I've always kind of been unsure, is like it almost looks like they slit his throat or fuck him up with the blades from the motor on the boat.
Something, because I know it's
That's what
like,
it seems like.
yeah, like I don't know if it was like the top of his head or what it was, but like something from the motor hit him. I don't know. I know, because I know it's like that last scene where I think like he opens his eyes or something. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he went to sleep. Oh, who's got dislikes?
Matt has dislikes, apparently. Go ahead.
Matt does have dislikes. This is one of the most heavily edited kill scene wise movies in the Friday the 13th franchise. They edited a lot of shit down for this movie, which I didn't like. And it's partially because there are actually children in it, so that's why it kind of took a big hit. Also, the cop and his stupid laser pointer on the fucking gun, and the fact that they made like that a big deal in the movie bugged the shit out of me. Where the red dot goes, you bang. Like, get the fuck out of here. Also, okay, so you know that Pamela Voorhees killed a bunch of people and got decapitated. You know that Jason Voorhees, over 3 days, murdered numerous children throughout the fucking lake, including Tommy Jarvis's family. Now, he comes back and he tells you Jason's still alive. And the fact that you argue and fight so hard to believe that there is no Jason Voorhees, that Jason is dead, blah, 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 will not let it fucking go. Until you find out that, oh, all of my daughter's friends are being killed. Shit, maybe this guy that I was being a dick to was right the whole time. And then never apologized to him.
Yeah, I did not like him at all.
Mm-mm.
Like, yeah,
It kind of plays up to like
there's a lot of characters throughout a lot of different movies that has that one guy that just won't let it go until it's like slapping them in the face. Hate that shit. What you got, Katie?
Mainly just like the sheriff, like Matt said, like you're really not gonna believe him when he's coming running into the police station, saying Jason's back. Like and then you're gonna threaten to blow his brains out. That's a little fucking aggressive.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think he said something along the lines of like he saw Jason cremated or something like that, and he's ashes, and it's like, no, he was fucking buried. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah.
They dug him up.
So fuck the sheriff. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't
And no
have much
nudity.
fun.
The entire film,
Yeah.
not one pair of titties. Or man butt, if that's your thing. Like, I'm sure Katie would have appreciated like a quick shot of Tommy's ass.
Oh, I'm sure
I
she
would've.
would have. I'm sure she would have. Yeah,
Disappointing.
I wasn't crazy about the actor they had for this one. Like, I don't know if there was like a scheduling thing or whatever that they couldn't get the guy from the last movie, but when it's like when you just saw him in a previous movie and you're changing him now, it's like that. I'm never big on that, but yeah, I'm also on with the sheriff. Like, yeah, not a fan of those guys at all. But no, I didn't have a lot of dislike on this movie. This is one of the better ones for me.